Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to talk a little bit about this application sharing. So this is, as we said, a student could share, if we give them the permission, their system. I just clicked on that, clicking again. But oftentimes you'll use it to share your computer. Like I said, you might have a Word document that you want to draw their attention to, and you can't load those into the classroom directly, so you can just share the application. Another good thing is to share, you could just share your whole desktop. I'm going to click this button and show you some options. Right, so this is what will come up both for you or your student if your student is screen sharing. Now typically we suggest share desktop. Okay, I'm not going to share it right now because it's probably going to interfere with our video that we're making on the computer. But if you share your desktop, well, should I try it? I'll try it. Yeah. Okay, so what you see, I hope you can see it, around the edges, all around is orange. Mine actually looks yellow on my system. So that shows my entire desktop, including now this panel, so that you can still see student chat. If you want to get back to the classroom proper, you just maximize this. Now when I say proper, it's just going to be a gray screen, right? Because we're not sharing anything in this part of the classroom anymore. We are sharing our entire desktop. To close that, you would just click on this button here. I'm going to stop it right now just to show you. So actually, I'm going to show you before I do that. You could also stop sharing here. So I'm going to stop sharing, and now it says application sharing has stopped, and I would go back to my whiteboard by clicking the whiteboard. Now another thing that you might want to do, because when I clicked on screen sharing or application sharing, you actually can see every other application I've got running right now. You can see I've got the Blackboard Classroom running, and I've got Google Chrome, which is the Blackboard Learn platform. Okay, you can see there's my classroom, so if you lose it, it's always this little purple chevron button, and my Chrome is right here. Now it's not showing my email because that would never get shared. So let's go back to that idea of a PowerPoint that has Flash activities embedded in it. Now you can see PowerPoint's not open right now, so I'm just going to go back to my whiteboard for a moment, and this is something you'd want to do before class starts. So I'm going to just browse my computer by opening up the Windows Explorer, and I think I've got it in Dropbox, and there it is, Roman Medicine. This is one I showed you earlier. So I'll just open that up. I'm going to minimize that screen so it doesn't show. Click on the PowerPoint at the bottom to pull it up. Now I can see right away that it's not really a good size. I'm going to just resize this. Actually, I'll resize it. Sorry about that. I'll resize it to the size of what would normally get pulled into a classroom. So I'll move that up, and I'll move this down a wee bit. Now, you should have, this is slideshow. This helps you zoom in and out. You probably know all this. But this is the icon we really want to use, which is the reading view. If you click slideshow, which I'll do right now, it's going to take over your entire screen. So I'm just escaping out of that view. But if you hit reading view, the PowerPoint will open just in the window exactly the way you've sized it. Okay? I'm going to escape out of that again with my escape key. Now, this is what I wanted to show you from earlier. This is the slide that we looked at that was just completely flat and two-dimensional, like it is now. If I click on Start, which you can see I'm doing, nothing is happening. But if I go into Reading View, now this becomes active and I can click on it. So what you want to do, possibly before your lesson starts, is go ahead and open the PowerPoint. It would be at the beginning probably, but I'm just going to do it on this slide for now. And then you don't minimize it, because if you minimize it, it won't show up in the application sharing list. You just have it open, but I'm going to now click on my classroom, which will put it behind my classroom, so that when I go to application sharing, like magic, there it is. So I'm going to say just share my PowerPoint, not my whole desktop, and then share. Now you can see the orange box around just what I'm sharing, which is roughly the same size as the PowerPoint that was already in the classroom. Now, students can't click on this. Only you can click on this. So if you start an activity, you have to tell them what it's all about. This one is all about, it's just a matching exercise. So you say, okay, transported fresh water to buildings. What did that? What did that? What do you think? What do you think? And you wait for them to put something in the chat box or speak to you, and we'll say aqueducts. Let's say they get that one right. Hooray! We're cheap to visit and encouraged personal hygiene. Well, let's just say drainage systems. Oh, that's not right. So, and we'll just do that one, and that is correct. We know that drainage systems is here, and we know public toilets flushed. When it's done, you get a well done. Hooray. So if you want to use, especially BoardWorks PowerPoints that have built-in activities in them, you just have to do it through application sharing. Now, you could put this up entirely on your computer and show your desktop, but it's a much easier transition for a student if you simply share the application that you want to share with them. All right? Now, you can see, because our classroom is not maximized, which would be this button, I don't have the little thing that says stop sharing because it's because the classroom is not maximized, but I do still have this button. So I'm going to click that to stop sharing, and then it takes me back here. Okay? Now I've already stopped sharing. You don't have to do that unless you want to share something else immediately. I hope that makes sense. I tell you what we're going to do right now. Chris, I'm going to just put this on the whiteboard and go over to the other computer, and why don't you give Pennywise one some application sharing, and you'll see what it's like if a student shares something with you. A student is always going to share their desktop. So, it's going to take a little while, so you need to tell your student not to do anything too quickly. But it's showing my entire desktop. Now, if that's too small, you might ask your student just to bump up the view a little bit, which they can easily do through magnifying.
Certainly fine for us.
I'll just magnify it a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the document. Oh, this is my work so far. Now I'm stuck. I need help. So as the teacher, you can now take control of their computer. Chris, show them how to do that.
Well, all I would do is I would come up here to request cursor control from you.
Right. I now have to say yes.
Indeed. But it's worth noting that at any point, you can take back control by hitting the space bar.
Control space.
Control space even. So now I have control. Here we go.
And it's worth telling the student to keep their hands off the mouse. Go ahead and type something on the document, Chris.
Indeed. It's worth noting this little dot is my mouse. The actual cursor you can see is Amy's.
Hello, Amy.
Not
Hello,
quite.
even.
Hello, Amy. There we go. So I'm able to type on her computer with her to give her advice if I needed to. But
yeah, so that's just a little example of how and why you might have a student share their system with you. So let's stop that now. You can see that this is now yellow instead of orange. That denotes that a student is sharing, not you. So I'm going to stop this by clicking that button and go back to the whiteboard. Okay, Chris, I'm going to turn it over to you to talk about web tours.